Come on in. Come on in. Hey. Come on in these streets. Come on in. I'm going to wait a few minutes. Maybe not. I'm going to get started. Make sure you get your elderberries. Get anything that will boost your immune system. That is extremely important with the COVID virus and all that good stuff. Hey, Trina. Make sure you get your elderberries. Make sure you get your turmeric. Make sure you get your ginger. Make sure you steam. Do steaming. Let steam go up your nose and your throat and your lungs. Also make sure you just make sure you take care of yourself. I'm excited to talk about what I am going to talk about today, but I just wanted to make sure everybody is getting their elderberries. Make sure you get your turmeric, your ginger, your lemons, make sure you get a lot of vitamin C, a lot of vitamin D, especially for my melanated people. We need vitamin D, so make sure you get your vitamin D. Okay. Today, hey Rebecca, I know I'm late, y'all. I'm sorry. I am late. I do these in these streets in my car, and I could not locate my keys, so this is why I'm late. But today I want to talk about a subject that I'm not sure if so many of us are even think about or contemplate, or even maybe it doesn't cross your mind, but I want to talk about that. But I always want to make sure everybody is staying healthy. Make sure you get your exercise. Make sure you keep up your strength. Don't eat so much. Sometimes it's okay to fast, pray, whatever you want to do. But I think it's a time to take care of ourselves. So on that note, I want to talk about the coronavirus, but not in a sense of it affecting us. If it's affecting so many out here, I wonder, do we think about the individuals who are incarcerated? Have you given it a second thought about those men and women who have, hey Nicole, who have committed a crime? Or some people who they say they committed a crime, but in actuality, they have not. Or those who are held in jail or whatnot, right? Have we considered those individuals, or did we just throw those individuals away, stating or feeling like, hey, you did the crime, so you do the time. So if you get sick and die in prison, oh, so be it. What are your thoughts? I don't understand. I get on here and I joke a lot, but people do not understand the magnitude of not only the the coronavirus and COVID-19, but how is affecting us out in the free world, so to speak. What about those individuals who are incarcerated? Do you understand that these individuals live in a 6x8 cell, sometimes smaller, but 6x8 cell, and some of your bedrooms are big. Plenty of people bedrooms are bigger than a 6x8 feet cell, right? So have you given thought to how we are so stressed out and so tired of being in the house? But have you given thought to the individuals who are getting infected with the coronavirus, who are incarcerated? Those individuals, we cannot stand 6 feet away from us when your cell is 6 feet. Do you understand? So that means at all times you will have to stand on your bunkie, or your cellmate would have to stand on one side, and then you would have to stand on the other. So I'm thinking, like, have we really thought about that? Have we considered those individuals who are not privy to elderberry and not privy to turmeric and not privy to protective of the gloves or the mask or anything like that? Do you really think those officers who are bringing in the COVID-19 coronavirus to individuals who are incarcerated, when basically you should be safe when you're in prison, right? Safe from other inmates, safe from the officers. But if the officers are working there and they are exposed to COVID-19, and then they come into the prisons to work in the prison system, and they are unshackling these men and women every day. Have you considered how many individuals are dying from COVID-19 who are incarcerated? Yeah, it's a lot of individuals. There are a lot of people, more people who are recovering from COVID-19. Let's get that straight. However, what about those people who don't have access to the healthcare system like we have access to it? Or access, like right now, you are not able to go to the doctors like my children had a checkup. We're supposed to have a checkup. They said they weren't seeing them. They're going to see it through the video, right? But what about those officers who are endangering the lives of prison inmates? Do you think it's okay for them to endanger their lives? Have you considered, the media is not talking about all the inmates who are dying, or that it's that coronavirus is infected in Waupun, or it has infiltrated Waupun Correctional Institution, or what's a few others correctional institutions, or the federal inmates, the 4 federal inmates who've died from the coronavirus, or what's going on? Do we care about our family members, our friends, our associates, other human beings who have human lives, who could one day be free? Most people who are incarcerated are coming home. Did you know that? So are we, and Racine as well, right? So are we really considering, like, hey, we're complaining that we're in our houses for so long and everything, but did you consider those people who are incarcerated? Did you consider the people who are in the Milwaukee County Jail? The cell is only 6 feet. 6 feet, right? 6 by 8, right? So how are they going to stay apart from each other? Do you really think they're giving those inmates masks? Come on. Do you really think they care? Let me just get it real clear. When I was incarcerated, I was treated like crap. Do you understand me? Inmates died while I was there. Did you know that officers could care less? Did you know the officers, we would sit at a day space table and play cards, and they will take the clothes or the belongings of someone who had just passed and just like swing it past your head purposely? So do you really think that these individuals who are incarcerated, who are, and don't get me wrong, okay, you went to prison, right? But I think people get it twisted. Let me clear something up for you. People don't understand, like, when I committed my crime, the judge sentenced me to prison. When you're sentenced to prison, that means I am away from my family. I am away from anybody who really cares for me. I am up and I am sent up north. I am from the south, where are we at? Southwest? Southeast. Yeah, southeast. Whatever. Right? Do you know that people are dying in prison? Did you know there was a young girl at 18 years old who killed herself maybe 2 years ago in Racine Correctional Institute? No, not Racine. Robert Ellsworth Correctional Institution. Do you think that, my loved one may have committed a crime, but so what, they're in prison? No, we were sentenced, and the sentence is being away from your family, up north, away from people telling you what to do. Your sentence is not death. Did you ever think about that? And some people are there for selling weed. But here, now, they're capitalizing on weed in the United States. So is it worth their lives? Shouldn't we be freeing these people? So shouldn't they get a chance? All my godly people, all my church people, shouldn't these people get a second chance? And if you're not godly or churchy or whatever, shouldn't a human being get a chance? Because trust me, baby, I know you've committed a crime before. You've done things before. So is anybody really thinking about the individuals who are incarcerated, our brothers, our sisters, our uncles, our aunts? You know what I'm saying? Your loved ones that you forgot about? What about them? Who's making noise for the inmates? about the COVID-19, who say, hey, yeah, they sold weed. They, in the CARES Act, some people can get out if you are not a sex offender, I believe, and if you are not a violent offender. I was a violent offender. So that meant if I was in prison right now, I had to stay there for one mistake. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I want everybody on this live and everybody to post the video and everybody to share it, because what about the individuals who are locked up? They don't have, you think they have vitamin C in prison? I've never seen it. I never saw vitamin C when I was in prison. I never got opportunities to see, but I was very healthy, right? What about all the people who are sickly? What about people who are in wheelchairs? Do you know old people are there in wheelchairs who've been there for 20, 30 years? So do they deserve to die because an officer contacted the COVID-19 and passed it to the inmates, where they control everything? They're next to the nurses when they give out medication. They're unlocking their doors. This is how close they are to unlock your door. Did you understand that? If you're in the hole or anything, they have to unshackle you. Are we thinking about that? Or are we saying, oh, that's okay? Are we even caring about those lives when we're sitting and complaining about ours being locked up in our houses? But you can go anywhere you want to go, right? So I want people to make noise and contact the justice system in Wisconsin and the Secretary of the Department of Corrections, because guess what? If the COVID-19 is in the Racine Correctional Institution, do you know how many sickly people are in the Racine Correctional Institution? And do you know how many people are going to die? And is it worth it? No, it's not worth it. Let people go. I mean, come on now. Yes, they've committed crimes, but you're talking about crimes that the United States is capitalizing off of, which is selling marijuana. Weed is legal in Colorado. It's legal in Las Vegas, California, Illinois. So you mean to tell me those individuals who are incarcerated have to stay incarcerated and risk losing their lives? And are you saying to yourself, well, you did the time, you did the crime and all the consequences that comes with it? No, you are treated like, a lot of times people don't understand that you are treated like a animal when you're in prison. And so, are you praying for those who are incarcerated? Are you being an activist for those who are incarcerated? Are you thinking about those who are incarcerated? Are you just thinking about yourself, the lack of exercise you get, all the food that you eat, the boredom that you have, the Facebook posts, the this, the that? What about when I was in prison, you visit me not? And I'm not saying you have to visit people. I'm saying this system is bogus, is set up, it's against us. And I'm also saying we need to start making a difference, a conscious difference, a difference. Yes, I'm telling you, if it was today, if I committed my crime today, or when I committed my crime and I did my time and I came back and I became a model citizen, okay, a model sovereign, right? Did you give up on me? Should you gave up on me? Do you know what these individuals are going to be like years from now? When they already treated like crap, now they have to worry about their lives. Did you see the video of the man who was laying in his cell saying, oh, I'm sick and I'm this and that, and people are not caring? What do you think they're going to do with those inmates? They said they had a trailer or a tent and they were stacking bodies. Did you think about that? I mean, we have to be not so worried and just about ourselves, but we have to worry about others, not just our kids, but what about, I don't know, everybody knows somebody who's either been in prison or who's incarcerated now, or, you know what I'm saying? You understand? Somebody knows, or it's close to everybody, I believe. Like, oh, my cousin Ray Ray or my uncle blah blah blah, he was in prison, blah 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 blah. Or it's not like the orange is new black. It's not like that. Okay? So we have to start making noise, and we have to hold the people that we put in office accountable for those lives of those people who are in prison, because they are human beings. They are people who need us to be their voice, because what happens is they don't have a voice. When you go to prison, they take your voice away. You can't even yell or hardly sing. You can't sing in the hallways or in the going around. They tell you be quiet, inmate. So, hey, Christy. So you got to understand, like, I under like the little comment Ellen made. Oh, it feels like a prison and blah, blah, blah. Baby girl, you live in a mansion. Baby girl, you live in a mansion. You don't have to be 6 feet from your wife. You live in a mansion, Ellen. I'm just saying. You live in a mansion. These people live in cells that are 6x8. A 6x8 cell, right? And we're supposed to stay 6 feet apart. I am saddened not only by the justice system, which is already set up against us, but I'm saddened that people are so self-righteous and self-thinking about themselves rather than thinking about their fellow man. So that is what I wanted to discuss, and I just wanted to put it something on your mind, because we can be sometimes we become selfish. Sometimes we think about ourselves. I'm tired of being in this house, and I've been guilty of it as well. So I'm not just accusing anybody, but I'm saying I'm tired of this house. I'm tired of being in the same house, blah, 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 blah. No food, can't go nowhere, this and that. But think about those individuals who are scared for their lives. One guy wrote, he said he was living in a grave or something like that with his eyes wide open. And I'm like, you're just, it's just like you're waiting to die. And that is so sad to me. So I just wanted to share that. Let me see who wants to be added to this conversation. Let me see. Hey, let me know if you want to be added to this conversation. But I'm just letting you know, like, I was not treated well when I was in prison. I was treated like crap. I was in the cell for a very, very long time. I paid my restitution, not my, what you call they have fees. Like if you send, some money to somebody who's incarcerated, they take a percentage off. So they'll take like 25% and they'll say they paying this and your court fees and this fee and that fee. But guess what? They don't pay those fees, because when you get out, if you check the court system, they'll say you still owe, this person owes that and this. We were treated like, they sent us up north to Vilas County Jail. And in Vilas County Jail, the people, treated us like crap. They called us monkeys. They pulled me off of a top of a cell. So I'm on the top bunk. They pulled me off from the top bunk to the floor. Snatched me off and threw me to the floor. Okay? Not only did that, they put me in the hole in Vilas County Jail. And you know what they did to us? They put us in a hole. Everything was cement in there except the steel toilet. They did not give us food. They had a camera in the cell, but they did not feed us while we're there. I was in there probably in that hole for 2 weeks. This is a different hole because the prison was overcrowded. And so they would send us to either a private prison or they would send us to jail. And because my health was so good, and I was in, a great condition, they were like, oh, she qualifies to go to the jail. This is in July of, I believe, 99. So when I got there, 6 months later, they sent me to Vilas County Jail, where I never saw a black person up there. So unless you were incarcerated, and those people treated us like crap. Do you hear me? And not only did they put us in a hole, put me in a hole, they did not feed me. They didn't give me a bed, so I had to sleep on the floor. Or a mattress. They didn't give me a mattress, a bed, or did they give us a blanket? No, we had to beg for a blanket. So not only did they do that, they didn't feed us. 2 weeks. We had to write to a letter to the administrator. What was her name? Judy something. I should look her up. We had to write a letter to her, and she eventually let us out 2 weeks later, but she knew that they weren't feeding us. She knew all we had was a cup to drink water. They weren't feeding us. We had nothing to cover up with. All we had was a little jail outfit on. That's how they treated us. So imagine what they're doing to the inmates, especially if you contract the COVID-19. Think about that. So I am saddened that this is going on, because I know my experience when I was incarcerated. It wasn't sweet. I mean, you make it what you want. I mean, what it is. I remember laying in the beds and I could count the bricks on the wall all the way down. See, I remember laying in the bed in the beds, and she could count the bricks on the wall all the way around. I mean, it's small. You telling the truth. Yeah. I remember, I'm going to tell y'all some of the stories, but it'll be in my book, but some of the stories of, how they put us in prison, and if they don't like you, they treat you bad anyway. They call you inmate instead of calling you by your name. They only call you by your last name, or they'll call you inmate Jordan, or inmate blah, blah, blah. The dynamics of it is all you see is white people in authority. Okay, I remember one black guard, and that was Sergeant Daniels. They treated us like crap. And then they send the worst of the worst men who've probably killed the men at the other prison or hurt the men at the other prison. They send them to the women to work with the women. So usually if an officer does something wrong or kills an inmate or blah, 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 or have sex with an inmate, back in the day, they would just transfer them somewhere else. Usually they transfer them to the women's prison. And the women, there are so many people who are empowered there, who I used to tell them, you only act like that because you have no power in your home. You feel you have no self-esteem. That's why you come here and you treat us like crap. I mean, like, it could be, remember it was that really, really hot summer, right? And it had to be like 105 degrees or something in Wisconsin. Did you know that they did not give us ice? And you in a hot cell with nothing but bricks, a cement cell. They wouldn't give us water. I mean, not water. They wouldn't give us ice. So all you think about this pandemic. Think about what's really going on in the prisons. I can attest, and some of these people on this live can also attest, because they've been incarcerated and they've experienced it. Like not giving us ice when it's 105 degrees. Think about what you're doing to us, but you want these women, these men, to come out and be model citizens when you've treated them like crap, when you don't even care about their lives. I remember fainting when I was in the hole, and the women just around me started screaming for me. That is the only way I came back to consciousness, because I had fainted. It was my birthday, October 7th. And I fainted while being in the hole. Did you not know when I saw a nurse, you know what the nurse told me? She said, drink more water. So I just want you to know, like, they don't take it serious when you say, I'm hurting. I'm sick. I don't feel well. So imagine what these women and these men are suffering from, what they're going through. If the COVID-19 affects us, and we're receiving headaches and body aches and this, and you can, I heard your chest hurts and this and that, and just imagine, do you think they're going to waste their money to test those inmates? I love you too, Ari. Do you think they're going to waste money to test it? They're cattle. People are in prison are cattle. And it saddens me that why do you think that all the prisons are up north in basically predominantly white areas? Do you not know the money that they get? They count those inmates for, it's like a, I forgot what it's called, but the money that they send every county, those individuals who are in prison, like the county could be like, I don't know, 300 people, but since they have 700 inmates, they count the 700 plus the 300 people in the town, and that's how they allocate money for that town, or that county. So I just want you to know that, like, there are so many terrible things that happened to me while I was incarcerated. I should be crazy, but but I should be crazy. Right. They're not testing so many people. And then the people that they are diagnosing with COVID-19, some of them are not tested. They're just saying they have the COVID-19. And I really believe that they're targeting black people or melanated people, because they feel like, I heard that pretty soon they're going to go in everybody's home and go test the people in the home. And if you have it, they're going to pull you out your home. So, think about that when you give up your liberties. You get what I'm saying? And so also, I just want you to just think about those inmates who are in prison, because, man, it's so difficult. Prison is not easy. There's more than 400 in Cook County Jail. There's more what? 400 people? Or cases? Yeah, a lot of them are diagnosed off the symptoms and sent home. Right. So, Ari, what are they giving for those who are testing positive for COVID-19? Are they giving them vitamin C? Are they telling them to take elderberries? Are they telling them, what are they telling them? So I just wanted to give you guys a clear picture or a clear view of what's going on in the prison. Oh my, I'm so sad this is happening. Positive cases in Cook. Okay, it's 400 positive cases in Cook County Jail. And think about it. In the jails, like in Milwaukee County Jail, they have, I remember there was a girl. Okay, it was a bunk bed. So it's a girl on the top bunk, girl on the bottom bunk, and a girl on the floor. So how in the world are you supposed to stay 6 feet apart? So I'm so sad. Like, it's like they killing off I just know how difficult it was for me and some of the other prisoners or women in prison. They always talk about public health, and it's public health is not just your health, but your environment and the things that you have. Do you not know, just like with kids, like in the inner city, I think they're going to try to clean out the inner city, but baby girl, baby boy, I got something for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm sovereign, so don't come to my house. Anyway, but think about, like, what you have to endure, especially kids who live in the inner city. They hear gunshots all a lot. They blah, blah, blah. They this and that. Maybe people arguing, people fighting, whatever. So that's PTSD. Do you not imagine what the inmates, or now let me not call them inmates, the people who are incarcerated, those returning citizens, because they are returning citizens, most of them coming home, especially, and don't get it twisted, lifers come home. I know plenty of them. Lifers come home. So imagine what is happening. Okay, only addressing COVID if respiratory is an issue for the most part. Praying for those incarcerated, because I see what you are saying. Right. So if they're only addressing, you mean to tell me you're diagnosed with COVID-19, they're doing nothing unless you say something about your respiratory? That's cold. That's cold-blooded. And if it's respiratory, what are they doing? That's crazy. Yeah, you late, but I was late too, so it's all good. I just want you to know that let's pray for those who are incarcerated. Not only pray for them, but let's call the government's plan Sally. Yeah, first of all, they trying to depopulate. Okay? They're depopulating. Dude, listen to me. They don't care if you die in prison. They don't even care if you die in the community. So imagine, especially the black community, they don't care. The melanated people, they don't give a doggone about, right? So imagine what's going on in the prisons. Imagine, like, I see these women. I have been there. These women, like, I got headaches. I remember, let me tell y'all something. This lady named Deb, when I was incarcerated, What year? This is before I went to the hole, so it has to be like 2002. And she went to the officer named Sergeant Springer. It was the female, or was she an officer? Officer Springer, female. And she told her, I'm sick. She said, I just don't feel right. I'm sick. Do you know what that lady told her? She said, get back to your cell, inmate. And she was like, okay. So she went back to her cell. She came back out. She said, I'm just not feeling well. I don't know, something going on. You need to call somebody. Something going on. This was 2001. Do you know what that lady said? The white lady, officer, said, inmate, I said, get back to your cell. She said, if you come back out, I'm going to put you in a hole. Do you not know Miss Deb died that day? So that next day when they came, they all locking all the inmates down, blah, 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 she died. She asked for help, and what's her name? Officer Springer. Maybe she was a sergeant. I don't know if she was a sergeant. Skinny little lady. She was one little evil little you know what. But thank you. She said, she told her to get back to her cell. That Miss Deb died that day. And we wrote, because we know I used to write music and all that. And we wrote To Live and Survive in TY. So it goes. To live and survive in TY. We're watching our people struggle and fight. Can you feel the pain that we hold inside? Determined to live, but still we die. So then after that, that's when I said we were sitting in day space, and the I think it was Sergeant Vanderstreek. She walked past, and she had the Miss Deb's possessions, and she swung it by our heads. And we knew Miss Deb, because like when you're in prison, you become a community, a family, right? And they were so heartless. So imagine, like, they were heartless. And I'm telling you, I really thought many of times that I would die in prison. So imagine what these men and these women are going through. Like, those people do not care about them. They do not care about their pain. They do not care about, like, their loved ones dying. And like when women and men in prison are different, but when women, when I was there and people would die, like, these are people like you live with, like you converse with, like you spend time with, right? This is Tachita Correctional Institution in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. So these people did not care. So why would you put the people, why would you vet people who have a heart? And don't get me wrong, I know it's difficult to get people to work in prison, but why wouldn't you get people who care for people? But they get people like coming straight out of high school who never saw black people, who never saw melanated people, to come and work in the prisons, and they have ever seen us is on TV, and then they treat you like you are an animal. With the food. So back to Miss Deb. Miss Deb died. Me and my little crew, when I say crew, I mean my friends and people who we sing and we rap. Because what I used to do is they had 14-year-olds in prison. I would take the 14-year-olds, and I said, instead of you coming and acting a fool and getting in trouble, I said, why don't you write music or write a poetry or write raps and this and that? So we would sing and write raps and all that. So they came and searched my room, my cell, my 6x8 cell. And they came, and when they came, they look through my music, my papers, like they go through all your stuff. They take your stuff. They walk on your stuff. They walk on your pictures because it's dehumanizing. So the plan is to take your soul, to take your spirit, your soul, to make you feel like you're nothing. And that's what they do. And so they went through my cell, and they found the song To Live and Die in TY. Because we call it TY, Tachita. TAY. CHEEDA. Tachita Correctional Institution. And Shortly after that, after they saw that song, they locked me up and put me in the cell in segregation. So they took about a month or so to bring in a black captain from Waupun or wherever he was. And when they brought him in, they not only got me, they came, and if you look at A60 records, it was all on the news and all that or whatever. We made a lot of stink. We had our family members make a lot of stink about it. But they came and got me maybe about 6 p.m. And then they went and got all the rest of the women who were melanated women. They came and got them. It was like 20 women. They came and got them at night, in the night. So these white shirts, you feel me? These white shirts, white men came and got all of these females, and they took them to the hole, like 20, 25 of them in the middle of the night, right? So, thank you for the encounter hug. So they accused me of, now, this had to be in 2002, 2000, I don't remember what year it was, but I was in prison, and I was going to go minimum. So when you go minimum, I'm in a maximum security prison. Now, listen to me. I was in maximum security prison my entire stay, except for 6 months. So they sent me, and so they came and they had this hearing. They said, let me tell y'all something. They said I was conspiracy to escape. Now, like, for real, like, bro, I'm going minimum, meaning I'm going home soon. Why in the world would I have a conspiracy to escape? A conspiracy to escape. It's a conspiracy to start a riot. First of all, bruh. And then they brought a black man in to accuse me and give me 8 and 360. That means I had 368 days in prison. That's what they sentenced me to in the prison, right? So while I'm going through this, like, I became angry with God. I didn't want to talk to God, right? Anyway, so I fainted while I was in the prison. Like, when I was in the hole, I fainted. I was unconscious. They fed us like animals through a cell, like through the little trap. They treated us like you can only get like 3 maxi pads for a week and things like that. So I just want you to be kind, like, y'all thinking y'all loved ones is sitting in the cell all cozy, like Orange is the New Black, and they're watching their little cozy cable shows and all that, and they're not. The only cable, that you see or whatever is TBN in Techeetah. That's it. So I just want you to be aware, like, my heart is literally breaking for those people. Like, because I know what my experience was like when I was there. So I'm just so sad that these people are getting COVID-19 while in the prison. And like, you scared that you're gonna die, and then people are dying. That's so sad. Like, you dying without your family members, and you die and you there alone, like, for real. So I need y'all to reach out to the governor and reach out to the secretary of the Department of Corrections, reach out to the ACLU. My sister Melissa works at the ACLU, but like, you know how they telling me how bad you feel when you have the COVID-19? Now magnify that to 100 because you're incarcerated, like you in a cell, like you can't. You can't get like love or your family members. Like, if people get COVID-19 and here in the free space, you can't go see your family members in the hospital, right? Or so imagine your son or your daughter or your family member went to prison because they sold marijuana, or they forged a check, or they had an addiction and drank too much and was a drunk driver, or they or they took the rap for their boyfriend with some drugs, and you risking your life, and they could be dying. Like, I don't think y'all get it. Like, I mean, all people thinking about themselves, but these people, it's 400 cases of COVID-19 in Cook County Jail. That means my heart is just broke, because there are so many people don't realize how those individuals are treated, and it's like we throw them away. Like, you forget about those people who go to prison. You forget about your uncle and he bad. No, you don't know their life experience. You don't know what they went through. And you don't know, like, maybe he was molested as a child, and maybe he had to fight for his whole life, and maybe he had to, you know what I'm saying, he didn't have any food. So, and then they had the 3 strikes you're out. And so maybe he went for stealing some gum. I know people who are locked up for stealing a Snicker bar. And now, well, it's your 3 strikes, so you out. Come on, y'all. And you can lose your life now. Man, I'm sad. My heart is broke. And I know what I endured while I was there. I know how just because the way you look, like, I know white women get treated better in prison than black women. I know, I've seen it. You know what I'm saying? So you get a white girl and you tell her, hey, this and that, go get this or go do that, or tell the guard blah, blah, blah. And you get, it's favorite. Man, there's so much favoritism in prison. But because the way I looked back then, I didn't receive that. Do you not know officers is trying to have sex and is having sex with the women? They did that back in the day. Then they made this little law when girls was getting pregnant left and right. Like, man, the power struggle. You don't know. So imagine if I'm telling you, think about it. If I'm telling you I'm sick, I'm hurting, I'm this and that, I got chills, I'm aches, I got this. Do you think a guard is going to be like, okay, let me save your life? Nah, they're not going to want to be bothered with you. They don't have masks. They don't have masks. They don't have the protective gear. And then they don't care who they put you in the room with. They don't care. They just like, you go. And so if an officer does not like you, and this person might have the COVID-19, what makes you think they want to put them in the same cell? You in the same cell with them. So these are just some things that I wanted you to think about. And you know what I'm saying? Oh, thank you. I just want you to think about, because I know there was many days I wanted my life to end when I was in prison, to get it over with. Many days. But I had a purpose, right? And so I'm just so sad that people are losing their lives. Losing their lives because, you know, these people who are bringing in the COVID-19 to these inmates. Let these inmates free. Let these men and these women go home to their family so they can be safe at home, just like we are supposed to be safe at home. Because there is no 6 feet apart in prison. There's no 6 feet apart. There's no, like, and then you got to understand that y'all forgetting about y'all people who are incarcerated. Y'all not writing letters. People not writing you letters. People are not coming to visit you, and now you can't even visit. So you dying by yourself. So I just want y'all to reach out to the governor. Reach out to, and if they didn't care about us, Republicans or whoever, I could care less what side you on, Republicans or Democratic. If they didn't care about Wisconsinites enough to postpone the election, and they said safer at home but 6 feet apart, but they still had the election, what makes you think that they give a doggone about an inmate? I'm just saying, I'm just sad. Because it could have been me. You see what I'm saying? That's why I'm so upset. Because it could have been me. I could have been because of my mistake, I could have been the one who was dying in there, contracting COVID-19 and not coming home to my family. But I wasn't, and I'm grateful that it wasn't me. It's not me, but I'm so sad for all the inmates, all the people who are dying, and their family can't ever see them. That's sad. So I just want y'all to know that. I want y'all to consider the people incarcerated, and I don't know, go and make some noise for those inmates who are incarcerated, for your uncles, for your sisters, for your cousin, for other human beings, period. Make some noise. Call the ACLU. I mean, because think about somebody other than yourself. Be a voice for those who can't be a voice. You have been tuned in Nabu the Ruler, where we rule with what? Greatness in these streets. Love y'all.